proves that sometimes the second cup definitely doesn't match up to the first. Buckle down. Hey guys, so this is my review for Avengers Age of Ultron. I only just saw it today because I was not as inclined to see it on a midnight Thursday early preview showing as I was for the previous film, mainly because my expectations weren't as high. And least to say, the film kind of lives up to those expectations. Now, as my friends know me, I am a die-hard DC fan, but I still appreciate the Marvel films. I admit that Marvel is killing it with the cinematic universe. Guardians of the Galaxy was one of my favorite films of last year. And Avengers was decent. The only thing that I had a problem with Avengers was how simple the story was. Really, we watched that movie just to see all the Avengers come together. That was what the big novelty and the contributing factor was. Also, Loki was an awesome villain. Not to say that Ultron isn't as good, but he definitely doesn't have that charismatic charm that you would get from a human being. And another thing is, I've had Avengers fans agree with me on this, that the Avengers film was extremely simple. We'll use the alphabet as a comparison. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight films are from A to Z in terms of plot points just by using almost every single letter with that much depth in his story. Avengers was literally A to B. Literally. Just that simple. The thing is, the exact same thing happens in this film, except there's a lot more fighting, a lot less kind of story. The Avengers in this time are taking on a creation of Tony Stark's called Ultron. Ultron is basically Tony's means of trying to protect the world with this system that he kind of just made up, that he said, oh well, we wanted to make something that would get rid of the Avengers. Kind of like how Bruce Wayne in Dark Knight wanted to get rid of the Batman by having Harvey Dent rise up. You'll see a lot of comparisons to other comic book movies that are just kind of thrown in. And that's the thing that's really strange about this film, is for a Whedon film, I would say this is one of his weakest films he's ever done. You can see throughout the film that there isn't as much effort as there was before. There isn't as many different things in this film. He's just like, you know what, I did it once, I can do it again. That's exactly how it felt when I was watching this movie. I kind of felt like Whedon wasn't doing his best for this film. The villain doesn't really kind of work because he just seems to get more evil as the film goes along. There's times where you think that Ultron is basically trying to be better than Stark, and that there's this comparison between the two, but really he doesn't divulge on that. Despite the fact that this film is 2 hours and 20 minutes, we really don't get into the means of what Ultron is doing. Sure, he says he wants to make a better world. First he says, no, first with the Avengers, then with people who are bad, then with no people at all. It escalates without really a sense of it. And the pacing and the editing in this film is bad. In one sentence, he goes from a lab facility on an island, like on a very secluded little area, to a tunnel, to a highway on-ramp that is clearly miles away. And this happens all over the place. This jump cutting just doesn't make sense. It really is distorting, and it throws the film off. Now the thing is, I've said a lot of negative things about this movie, and there are some positives. There are some really good jokes in this film. There's these tongue-in-cheek humor moments where they basically acknowledge that it's a comic book movie, and it's cool. But the thing is that Avengers Age of Ultron really is a stepping stone for the Infinity War films. We're just watching Avengers 1 trying to be grittier, but not doing it right. We all thought there was going to be this really gritty, this very dark, this depressing story. It's just the same movie again. I was entertained. There's a lot of moments I was like, woo, yeah, but there was a lot of points where I was just like, okay, here we go again. I think this is one of the biggest reasons is, aside from Captain America, Winter Soldier, all of the films with the other Avengers, with the Hulk not even getting his own film, is that all of them weren't that great. Iron Man 3 really split people. Thor 2 was probably one of the most boring films, and it was like this close to being a bad movie. Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome, but that had nothing to do with this film. So in the end, my final rating for Avengers Age of Ultron is a 4 out of 7. Yes, despite all the negative stuff that I said, I'm still giving it a positive rating because it is an enjoyable film. You will enjoy it. You will have a fun time watching it. But you can feel that there's this heavy-handedness of just doing the film just because. And I'm kind of happy that Whedon is leaving, because I think that the brothers who are doing the Captain America movie are much more committed to trying doing something different, whereas Whedon is just like, let's just do the same thing again. Anyway, guys, that's my review for Age of Ultron. Tell me if you guys agree. There's a million other videos talking about the same thing, but, you know, I wondered if I'm one of the ones who was ragging on it. Anyway, see you guys later.
Buckle down.